the distinguished dignitaries, organizers of the conference, and the learned participants. It's my privilege this morning to be among the great scholars, and also I feel honored to have been given an opportunity to participate in this conference. Today I am going to present my paper, an overview on determinants of teachers' attitude towards teaching. I shall try my best to observe the time limit for my presentation. To begin with, introduction. Education is considered the backbone of any society and has been rightly recognized as the most important input for the development of an individual, a society, and a nation. The quality of education at all levels depends on the abilities and the skills of teachers who play an important role in the social reconstruction and in the transmission of wisdom, knowledge, and experience of one generation to another. A nation's well-being depends upon its teachers' well-being. As our teachers, they are custodians of our future. They are the key drivers of the prosperity and success of their institutions. In this context, schools and the teachers, they have more responsibilities to deliver, and their task as the change agents in this fast changing landscape of development, it becomes very difficult. In the event of their failure, a generation may lost in terms of its character, in terms of its development. Attitude. Alford has defined attitude as a mental and neural state of readiness organized through experience, exerting a directive or dynamic influence upon the individual's response to all objects and situations with which it is related. Alford has suggested four common conditions for the formation of these attitudes. Number one, the accretion and the integration of responses learned in the course of growing up. Second, the individual differentiation or segregation of experiences. Number three, the influence of some traumatic experiences. And last, the adaptation of attitudes. Teaching attitude. Teaching attitude implies the way a teacher views his teaching profession or tends to behave towards it. It may be in a favorable, positive, or unfavorable, or a negative way. It is the sum total of teachers' inclinations and feelings, preconceived notions, prejudice, bias, ideas, fears, and convictions about specific situations that a teacher has to face during his teaching profession. A positive attitude, it makes the work not only easier but also more satisfying and professionally rewarding. And negative and an unfavorable attitude makes the teaching task harder, tedious, and unpleasant. In addition, a teacher's attitude also influences the behavior of his/her students. Thus, effective and productive learning on part of the students can be achieved only by teachers with desirable attitude. Objectives. The following objectives were formulated for the present study. First, to examine and analyze the research evidences on the determinants of a teacher's attitude towards teaching. Second, to review and analyze the literature of teaching attitude from teacher education perspective. The paper examines and analyzes the research evidences on the determinants of a teacher's attitude towards teaching with respect to some demographic and academic characteristics. Methodology. In the present study, the researcher has used the secondary data which was collected through review of journals, books, and various studies which have been carried and had bearing to teachers' attitude towards teaching. Overview of the literature. After review, it was found that majority of the studies on attitude towards teaching focused around some characteristics of teachers like gender, age, trainings, qualifications, etc. The review also revealed that one's attitude towards teaching is influenced by some of his or her demographic and academic variables. And it was also found that the majority of the studies they reported the positive or the negative effect of these variables. However, there were some studies which shows no respective effects. Next is the determinants of teachers' attitude towards teaching. After review of the related literature, it was found that there are a number of factors, the number of determinants which have a bearing, which have an impact on teachers' attitude, and those include teacher training program, gender, age of teacher, qualifications of teacher, the type of institution, locality, and teaching experience. The first factor is teacher training programs. Teacher training programs, they improve the teacher's attitude towards teaching. Several studies have examined the impact of teacher training program on attitude towards teaching. Some researchers they show its positive impact on attitude. This impact varied with characteristics of teachers and the domain of the professional attitude. In contrary, some of the studies they revealed insignificant effect of training programs on teaching attitude. Some of the studies they have found insignificant change in teaching attitude of experienced trainees. They found training program was proved more effective to female trainees and reported that regular and continuous training they improves the attitude of teachers towards teaching. The second factor is gender. Teachers community comprises of both male and female teachers, and it has always been a matter of discussion that who have more favorable attitude towards teaching. Many studies have found significant difference in attitude of male and female teachers towards their teaching and have revealed female teachers had more favorable and positive attitude towards teaching in comparison to their male counterparts. Similarly, another study has revealed that the variable for which significant differences were observed include gender. Such differences were slight. However, some of the studies they were contrary to this effect of gender on it. Third factor is the age of the teacher. Majority of the studies revealed that age of teachers was not a differentiating factor in their attitude towards teaching profession. On the other hand, Some studies they have reported that age of teacher positively influence the favorable professional attitude. One of the longitudinal study conducted by Scron in 2011 revealed that there was a significant difference in the pre-service teachers' attitude towards the profession between their early years and the senior years. Another study has reported that the teachers whose age is above 30 years they were having more positive attitude towards teaching profession than the age group of below 30 years. The fourth factor is the qualification of the teacher. Teachers are engaged at various levels of teaching. There was a very small number of studies focusing on the comparison among teachers with context to their qualification. Attitude towards teaching profession was found not significantly related to the qualifications of the teacher. However, these studies they varied with sample's nature. Conversely, some of the studies they have reported positive correlation between the teaching efficiency through self-evaluation of lessons and attitude towards teaching profession of the pair of graduate and postgraduate student teachers. Fifth factor is the type of institution. An educated individual is associated with mainly two types of institutions, that's the government or the private. Some studies they have shown insignificant difference in their attitude towards teaching profession of teachers working in government and private institutions. These studies were conducted in different contexts and conversely some of the studies they suggest significant difference in teaching attitude due to the type of institution. Sixth factor is the locality of teacher. Teachers inhibits in both locality that's rural and the urban. Some of the studies they were conducted to compare the attitude with locality context. Teachers with urban origin they were observed having more teaching attitude than that of their rural counterparts. It was supported by some studies where it was found that the professional attitude of urban teachers was more favorable than that of rural teachers. Seventh factor is the teaching experience. Some of the studies they examine the effect of teaching experience on attitude towards teaching and was observed that the experience of teaching played a great role in the development of favorable attitude towards the teaching profession. It was supported by a number of studies wherein it was found that highly experienced effective teachers' attitude was more positive towards teaching profession than low experienced teachers. On the contrary, a few studies have revealed no significant effect of experience on attitude towards teaching. Such effect was observed varying with different age group of teachers. Now, the conclusion. Review of majority of the studies led to the conclusion that gender, age, qualification, teacher training, programs, experience, and locality were the factors of attitude towards teaching which influence it positively. Favorable attitude towards any activity enhance the efficiency, effectiveness, and so on. Subsequently, quality of a teacher is enriched, which is very important factor of educating new generations. In this review, it was explored how attitude towards teaching is influenced by the some demographic and academic variables of a teacher. Similarly, the literature review indicates some correlates of attitude towards teaching with job satisfaction, adjustment, effectiveness, efficiency, home environment, etc. Lastly, suggestions. Longitudinal studies are required to be conducted in this regard, which will be helpful for continuous training at different stages of learning. It will enable the stakeholders of teacher education to trace out which one are most effective and contributing causes to it. And such designs they will give a comprehensive and continuous shape of the research in teacher education. Lastly, a comparative study to ascertain the quality of personnel undergoing to teacher training is also desirable to ensure the validity and the quality of different modes and programs of training. Thank you.